So now that you've seen the ingredients of what we're going to use to make it, we're going to quickly do the fuse cords, because the fuse cords is what you actually have to put in to the can to ignite the actual mixture. So first things you do is we're going to heat up the oven to 150 degrees Celsius. We're going to take the pan and we're going to heat it up. We've got a 1/3 cup of water, which we are going to throw into the pan as soon as it's hot, and then we're going to sprinkle our mixture. We've already done the mixtures with the saltpeter as well as the sugar, so we don't have to actually do it on camera, so it's just going to take too much time. And then, yeah, so once we've done that, then we'll go into actually making the mixture that we're going to pour into the Red Bull cans. Cool. Agreed. Okay. Agreed. We're going to put you in the oven. Good idea. Okay, so now that our pan's hot enough, what we're going to do, we're going to take a 1/3 cup of water, and we're going to throw it in here, and that is exactly what you want. You want the pan to simmer a little bit. And you can keep your stove on, I'd say about medium heat, enough to just keep it simmering. You don't want to burn it. And then we're going to take this mixture. Once you've put your saltpeter and your sugar in together, just shake it up, get it really mixed in nicely, and then you can take it and just kind of sprinkle it in the pan. Left to right, and you're going to see it's kind of going to simmer away. And then you can just take a spoon. You can use a wooden spoon. Just remember the stuff gets very sticky, so afterwards you're probably going to have to throw it away. Okay, so you'll see your pan start bubbling like that. It's not ready. You're going to have to wait for it to bubble. We'll just let it go a little bit more, and then we'll show you how far to take it. Okay, so basically when it gets to this point now, and it's getting that little bit of foam, you can get your string ready. The best way to do this is get a fairly long string, I'd say about 2 meters, and what you're going to do is you're going to actually just put it in, and you're going to start stirring it in. So just go ahead and stir it, and that's just going to soak up all that white foam that it's starting to make. At this point you can even turn it down quite a bit. And the key here is to just hold on to the other end. Don't let it drop in, or else it's just going to knot up and it's going to get really, really tangly afterwards. So once you've found that everything's pretty much soaked it up and it's ready to move into its tray, what you're going to do is you're going to take a baking tray, which you've already put aside, turn your stove off. Keep in mind this is pretty hot still, so just kind of keep it as straight as possible. Yeah, you can just have your dry end hanging off the other side. It is pretty hot, so you're going to put it in the oven. They are going to go quite brittle, but like I say, you don't have to panic too much. This is more than enough fuse that you're actually going to use. Good? And then just cut your dry end off. You take your tray with it in its zigzag, let's get your legs, and then you can stick it in your oven that's preheated to 150 degrees, and then you can just leave that there, and we'll take it out just now in probably about another 10 minutes or so. You just got to keep an eye on it. Okay, so instead of starting the other mixture first, what we did was we first put these in. They started to get a little bit of a golden brown color, and then after that we took them out and we just left it in the tray. Just shoved that a little bit in the tray to obviously make sure it's not sticky. Put it outside. You can let it cool for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then afterwards you're kind of going to get this really, really hard effect, and it's going to be super, super brittle. Okay. So what you can do is you can take your cans that you've cut, depending, I've left them really, really long. The initial ones that we did, we actually cut the cans in half, and even though we're only still going to fill it a little bit, we're not going to fill this thing right up here, else it's going to burn forever. It's purely for the fuse sake, and that if you are at a wedding or at a function, or if you're somewhere that you need it, you've at least got a little bit of shelter from the wind, whether you're using a match or a light or whatever it may be. So just make sure that when you do cut it, you actually allow it to reach the bottom of the can, because you want it to go the whole way through your final mixture. So that's pretty much the length that you're going to be looking at. You can even go a little bit shorter if you want to. We're not going to make that many, so we'll rather utilize a fuse and we'll just make more another time. So once it's fully in, that's pretty much going to be the height, and you'll probably light it from, you know, halfway down closer to your solution. Okay, so while Michelle's cutting that, I'm just going to heat this pan up for our final solution to actually do the flares themselves. And you can take it to about half heat, and you want to heat the pan up a little bit beforehand. Don't get it scorching hot, and you don't want to throw it in and burn the mixture. We've pre-mixed the mixture as well. However, the difference is when you do the fuse, you can put it in a bucket and you can really shake it up, and you want to get a thorough mixture, so when it boils and you wrap it through the fuses, it's kind of perfectly mixed. With this, you can throw your saltpeter in first, and afterwards you can throw your sugar, and then you're just going to pour it in, and you slowly, as soon as it starts to brown at the bottom, not burn, brown, you're going to start to fold it over. So you don't want to mix it properly, or else it's just going to burn, and then you slowly start to fold that brown in, and then we'll just take you through the motions. Okay, so we've got our mixture. Our pan's pretty much preheated. It's not too hot. It's on, I'd say, about half the heat that it's capable of, and we're just going to pour this into the pan. This is quite a big mixture. In the end, we used about 250 grams of saltpeter, and 40% of that weight was obviously the sugar. So I'm just going to spread it over the pan evenly. Our sugar is kind of touching the base over here, so that's going to start browning first, and you just got to keep an eye on it. I can see the sugar is starting to melt. It's not yet going brown, but it is starting to get a little bit of a liquidy base in the bottom, and the whole thing is starting to become tacky. So at this point, don't just go mad and start folding it. Just keep an eye on it that you're not actually burning it. So at this point, we still seem to be okay. So a little bit longer and it'll be perfect. Spillage. So already at this point you can see it's starting to get that brown look. It's more of like a golden yellow, and Michelle's just folding it over, and you just got to keep going with it. You got to keep mixing it. You can't let it stand at this point. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the 5 cans out here. I'm just using the exact same baking tray because we're going to have to clean it afterwards because we did the fuses. I'm not really going to make too much of a mess. So it's starting to get very, you could kind of say jelly-like. A little bit of goo, it's starting to get hot here, and the pan seems to stink. It smells pretty decent considering you're cooking up a smoke bomb, or should I say a smoke flare. It just smells like really nice caramelized sugar. It's really not that bad. Yeah, at this point it's pretty much perfect. If you can at this point, if you have spotted it in time and you can see it's really starting to brown, it's starting to get really dirty, you can just keep it off the heat a little bit, or else it just burns and it starts to bubble. And once it starts bubbling, that's where you don't want to be. That really messes up the mixture, and I think just keeping it off this gas stove like this at the moment is really, really perfect. So I don't know if you guys can see here too well, but I am going to try and pour them into here. I am probably going to make a mess, and I think I'm actually going to try and spoon it in, and that's probably going to be my best bet. I'm already messing. No, you're alright. You can use the little teaspoon on that side if you want. Yeah. It's about 1/4 can, I'd say. The 1/4 can gives us about maybe 15-20 seconds burn time, which is enough for an arty wedding shot or any type of photo that you really want to do. Let's rather take this leftover instead of trying to make another one, and we're just going to fill up the others a little more. There we go, it's looking good. I'm going to quickly grab these fuses that we've got, that we pre-made just now. Be careful not to hold the can too low. The stuff is super hot. It's already made this can so hot. And I'm just going to stick it in down to the bottom, right through. As soon as I touch the bottom of the metal and it bottoms out, you can just leave it right there. You may find, which I'm actually feeling now, which I didn't know would happen. Yeah, the fuses actually start to melt, which I suppose is actually a very good thing. So they start to melt and they start to bend at the bottom. At least if it is bending, it's obviously getting to the rest of the mixture. So you can just leave them in there like that. Switch that off, and That's pretty much perfect. So we're going to put these aside, we're going to let them cool. To give you an idea, we used, like we said, 250 grams of saltpeter and 40% of that, which was 100 grams of sugar, which is a half a cup of sugar, in the mixture, and that basically gave us 3 cans of, using the Red Bull diameter at about that height. So we're just going to get these out here, we're going to put them outside quickly and let them cool. The mixture needs to cool. You'll see the mixture itself will probably start dropping because of the puffiness in it. So yeah, and we're going to get cleaning quickly so we don't want the stuff to dry too much.
Alright, we've come down to our local skate park to use our smoke flares that we've just made, and what you're going to see is a basic 3-light setup. Just to the right of the BMX right now, you're going to see an SB910 Flash that's on a light stand. This is to give rim light to the BMXer while he's up in the air so we don't lose him in the sky, and he just pops from the image. The smoke flare is actually just to the left of the screen, which has actually been lit already, and due to the wind the smoke's going to be blowing across, and you're going to see another SB910 Flash over there, and this is the flash that's going to light up our smoke from the back as the wind blows it over. Michelle is standing here with another SB910 Flash on a monopod, and everything is controlled through the PocketWizard system. So all the flashes have TT5s on. I've got the TT1 on my camera with the AC3 controller. The AC3 controller truly is a gift from heaven, and this thing is absolutely awesome. So I'm just taking a few test shots and just dialing down and up certain flashes and waiting for that smoke flare to go. And as soon as it's going, you're going to see that smoke peeping in from the left hand side, and the wind's going to blow it across that SB910 Flash line on that quarter pipe, and there it goes. So right now we're giving our signal to the BMXer so he can start going, and this is basically what happened.